Have you ever found yourself repeating something about someone else that as you said the words, you thought to yourself, I'm not entirely certain that that's true, but I've heard somebody else say it and I heard somebody else say it, and so maybe I'm safe to repeat it. Welcome to Leading Leaders Podcast, 5-minute videos, 5 days a week. I'm Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast. Sadly, it's a pretty common thing, and especially in work environments, that people who spend a lot of time around each other, they kind of begin to know each other's secrets. They talk about each other, sadly, behind each other's backs. And sometimes the conversation that you might have with one friend over dinner about another friend, or that you might have over coffee about another friend, they kind of get crossways with, well, so-and-so said such and such about that person, and well, if that's true, then... And so they begin to shape how you feel about that other person. If we were in a classroom, I'd ask you to raise your hand if that's true, because you know you've experienced it. Now, that person's never behaved that way to you, but if so-and-so says so, then you're going to kind of be on the lookout for that, right? Now, the next encounter that you have with them is somewhat tainted because, well, you expect them to behave that way, to say those things, to do those things. And you have this heightened sense of awareness, an alertness, looking for that kind of behavior. Now, here's the sad reality. In each of our own lives, individually, the words that we say to ourselves, about ourselves, are both predictive and reactive, meaning the words that we say often will shape the things that we believe. They reinforce the ideas that we believe, even if what we believe is wrong. They'll reinforce our opinions about someone, even if our opinion is wrong. They'll reinforce our opinions about ourselves, about our own self-worth, about our education, about the job that we have, about the place that we hang out, about the people that we run with. And the result of that is we find ourselves following down that same path, even if the initial idea that started us on that path was wrong. Even if it was a misconception, even if it was deceit, even if it was intentionally planted deceit, we'll follow down that path to our own demise, because once we've said it, we believe it even more. And every time we say it again, truth or not, we believe it even more. And the result is our brain begins to take over and work out the solution to whatever we've said we believe. I believe I can be a millionaire. I believe I can be a millionaire. I believe I can be a millionaire. Now, the mantra alone isn't going to change who you are. But the belief system that's reinforced by the other words, by the other actions, by the other relationships, all those begin to have a compound exponential effect on the quality of your life and the people you run with. Now, if on the one hand you're saying to yourself in the mirror every day, I believe I'll be a millionaire, I believe I'll be a millionaire, I believe I'll be a millionaire, but you're hanging out with people who despise millionaires, the odds that that's going to happen are pretty slim, because you've got this incongruence going on in you. But the words that come out of the mouth, especially of a leader, someone who already has impact and influence in the lives of people around them, whether they're people who report to you or just people who observe you, when those words come out of your mouth, they're believed to be true, even if they're not. Watch politicians and journalists and media professionals. They know the sense of influence that they have, and they will intentionally sometimes say things that have no basis in truth, because they know the outcome that they're striving for. They also know they don't have to believe it. They don't have to surrender to it. They don't have to live under the circumstances of this thing they're declaring to be true. They just know there's a whole sector of the population who's going to run off after that falsehood as if it were true, and it will reshape the direction of their lives. The 1970s, we were told over and over, we're going to run out of gas, we're going to run out of gas, we're going to run out of gas, we're going to run out of gas. People lined up at gas stations. The prices went through the roof. People lined up at gas stations. They made smaller cars. They lined up at gas stations. We're going to run out of gas, we're going to run out of gas, we're going to run out of gas. Here we are almost 50 years later, we haven't run out of gas yet. Not only have we not run out of gas yet, but technology has allowed us to find more ways to create petroleum-based fuels from the resources that we currently have. Why didn't we run out? Well, because our minds weren't set on running out and destruction. But when those lies are planted in the society, through the media, in the conversations around the breakfast table, when the only thing coming out of your mouth is, we're all going to die, we're all going to die, we're all going to die, your body begins to react to that as if it were true. whether it is or not. When your organization has the seeds of deceit and defeat and destruction and bad relationships in the conversations around the lunch table, in the conversations around the break room, in the conversations after work, in the conversations around the coffee shop, when every conversation is about negativity within your organization is on its way down. As a leader, it's not manipulation to speak the truth into your organization. And it's not manipulation to set targets for positive conversation within your organization. If you're the leader, it's your responsibility. People will begin to believe what they hear the most. People do what people see. You give them the truth, give them the hopes, give them a vision, and get the conversation started there, the chances that your organization will succeed will rise exponentially. I'm Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast for Tell It Like It Is TV. Have a blessed day. Subscribe now for our extensive video library of leadership lessons promoting faith, family, and freedom.